Hey folks, Chip Richter coming to you here from the Golf Cave in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I want to be the first to wish you a happy new year. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday season, celebrated it with your friends and family. Hope everyone's healthy out there. Hope you had a great holiday season and you're ready to get to work on your golf game because it's 2022. And now's the time to be making changes to our motor patterns when we don't have to worry about ball flight, we don't have to worry about posting a score. Now's the time to do it. So let's get started doing some things this off season that can help you out, okay? Now today we're going to talk about putting, okay? And anyone who's ever taken a putting lesson from me, which I love to teach putting, has heard me say till I'm blue in the face, it's an art, not a science. There's just too many different styles of putting among great putters, among players in the Hall of Fame to try and standardize putting and say there's only one way to do it. That's absurd. But people do tend to fall into certain commonalities. And it's important that you understand what you do so that you can work and train the proper way to try and make sure that you are maximizing your skill set and putting as good as you can. Now, I want you to think about this. The putter, the butt end of the putter, kind of acts like a fulcrum in a sense. It basically points in one spot and it stays pointing in that spot. We do not want to see the putter moving like this, okay? We want to see the putter swinging from a fixed axis. But that axis doesn't always have to be in the same spot. Now I want you to look at a couple of pictures here, okay? So here we're going to see Tiger Woods. And what you're going to notice with Tiger is that the putter points pretty much at his navel or just above, and it stays pointed there throughout the stroke. He works on a very centered, from the center of his body, works on a very centered pivot, and he kind of strokes the putter that way. So does Luke Donald, okay? Very much, former world number one, very much a center post guy. Both great putters. But how about Brad Faxon? You know, he putted pretty well, but maybe the best I've ever seen, of this generation anyway. And Brad Faxon's pivot point was much more forward toward the left side of his body, okay? He had much more of a forward centerness where it still stayed pointed in one place, but it didn't point in the same spot as Tiger Woods. And neither did Ben Crenshaw's. Ben Crenshaw could roll his pill. I mean, he could putt, okay? So there's different ways to do this, and you want to make sure that when you're practicing the right way. So what I want you to do is find an alignment rod or something like that, and I want you to just kind of put it underneath the grip, and I want you to feel if a more center pivot feels like the way you like to stroke it, or a little more forward pivot with a little more of a blocking action. People who tend to be center pivot, I've found, tend to aim a little more right, pull the ball back on line. People who tend to have a little more blocking action, who have the pivot point a little more forward, tend to aim left, open the club face up a little bit, okay? And there's nothing wrong with either style. Both styles work, okay? But let's figure out which one you are. And when you're training, we look here at the putting arc. This is designed to move a little in, square, and back to a little in, okay? It has rotation in it. Now over here, we have the inside down the line from Momentus, which is much more of a goes a little inside and then works back out. So that's going to be more for those of you who are forward pivot people, okay? So there's a lot of different things you can do in your setup, different drills you can do, etc., different ways you can work and practice to maximize what you're doing. What you're doing is probably not wrong, but let's make sure we practice the right way. If you're more of a center pivot or forward pivot person and you're practicing on the inside arc here, that's not good. That's not matching up what you do. So why don't we have a talk about your putting at some point this winter? I tell you what, I'm going to make it easy for you, okay? Here's what we're going to do. I never do this, but I'm going to do this. In the months of January and February and March, training right here in the Golf Cave in Carlisle, we're going to run a special for in those 3 months, you get 3 lessons for the price of 2, okay? 3 lessons for the price of 2, so the first 20 people who call or email and sign up for it, so you're basically getting 1 free if you take 2, okay? And we will work on your putting, and we will work on your chipping, and we will work on your full swing on TrackMan in the simulator, and we will make sure that we are making appropriate changes to make sure you hit the gates running when that golf course opens up to play the way you want it to somewhere in March or April, okay? Let's go ahead and make some changes. Let's get some positive work done. You can reach me via email at chipr@pga.com or my cell phone, 717-421-0211. The online scheduling to my website is off. It'll open up back in the spring, but you can always reach me via email or text. I'd love to work with you this winter. Let's get some positive changes started. shoot me a text, give me a call. Let's get you in here. Let's get you measured. Let's figure out what your deficiencies are, and let's make sure you're working the proper way so that you're ready to hit the gates running and play great in 22. Again, Happy New Year, everyone. Hope to hear from you soon. Talk to you soon next week about some other stuff, and we're going to really try and get you changing motor patterns to play better in 2022. Thank you for your time.